You're delving a little.
Oh my gosh, we went to some deep waters.
Oh, what's up, guys? This is a little bit of a different video for us.
Yes.
A Q&A, a Q, a letter Q, a letter N,
oh my God.
and a letter A.
Oh my gosh. Or an ampersand, if that's how you want to do it. I don't know.
A little Q&A. So, yeah, this is our first time doing this, so hopefully we have a little fun.
Yes, and you know, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but we're kind of long-winded people, so hopefully it's not that. So, you know, I'm just popping open a little wine while we do this. Actually, one of our friends got us this for when we moved in, and it's a rosé. Oh, it kind of has a funny name. Globerati?
Yeah, let's go.
I don't know. One of those. I don't know. It's it's from Italy. That's all we gotta know. So pour up a drink, whatever your drink of choice is, whether that be wine, water, tea, coffee, whatever your preference is. And let's get into these questions.
So we posted on our Instagram story, which if you don't follow us on Instagram, be sure to check that out. Kenny.court1 on Instagram. So we post questions there, a little Q&A, and we had a few responses. So I'm just gonna read the questions off, and then we'll go into our answer.
Which I'm nervous. I don't know. I can't lie. We kind of like peeked at some of them, but like I wasn't able to actually like think about it. So I don't know.
Okay, first question. When did y'all know it was time? Ring emoji. Ladies first.
I was about to say, I feel like your response is gonna be more like telling because you're the one that decided when you were gonna ask, but I knew it was time. I don't know. I don't think there was an exact moment where I was like, okay, yes, like we need to get married. Like that's the next step. That's where we're going. I think it was definitely over, you know, over the course of some time. I think we started doing things really early together that a lot of people don't do that early in relationships. Dating. So yeah, like just dating. So we traveled a ton. Like, you know, I experienced some loss in my family, and same on your side. I think not as close, but I don't know. I feel like we went through a lot of things together that most people don't. And so I think that drew us closer together. And so, yeah, I feel like after we hit like this might sound early to some of y'all, but but after we hit like our 6-month anniversary, I was like, yeah, like this is it for me. So
I feel like if I'm answering the question from the perspective that she had or has, I think it was probably only a couple of months in.
Okay.
Because we'd always had conversations about what engagement would look like to us and marriage would look like to us, like as far as a timeline, as far as what we both wanted that to look like. And I knew very early on. I knew she was the one very early on. As far as like proposing, I think I knew at the beginning of 2022.
Yeah.
So the beginning of last year. Yeah. And so I mean, a few of my friends will contest to this, but I like called them, and I was like, yeah, like what did you do to take this step? Like, where did you get the ring, and how did you go about planning, proposing, and all of those things? So I knew then because I was starting to get serious in my conversations with not only myself, but like the people around me that were not you, because obviously I couldn't really tell you about this. You would know too much, but
which I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I just didn't know exactly when.
Anyways. All right, we'll go into the next question. So this one is, what is your favorite thing to cook together?
I can't think of anything like specific where I'm like, ooh yeah, like that's like the thing. But I just like being in the kitchen with you, just in general. I am so bad at like having somebody else in the kitchen. Normally I'm like get out of my space. Like, I don't want you here.
It's true.
Like,
she's telling the whole truth.
Yes. So, I mean, but I enjoy being in the kitchen with you. I feel like you help me in the ways that I need it. Mm-hmm. But you also are not like stepping on my toes, because I hate when people be in the kitchen with me and they be telling me like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. Like, no. Like, you're not gonna tell me.
I don't know how to answer this either, because we cook together pretty often. Mm-hmm. Right now she does more of the cooking, because a lot of times during the week I'm trying to get school things together, studying and watching lectures and things. But whenever we do have time to cook together, it's really everything. Yeah. We have a lot of go-to meals, like salmon.
We make salmon a lot. Salmon is tired in this household. Like, we were just saying, like, we gave her a break for a little bit because we were making salmon so much. But yeah.
Next question is, what is your favorite thing about each other?
Oh my gosh. That is so hard. And not hard in a bad way. Like, it's hard for me to pick one thing. I think I would say how patient you are with me, because I'm not going to say I'm a lot, but my patience is low for things. And so I really appreciate, like, you know, that you're able to be patient with me even when I'm being difficult. Mm-hmm. Like, for sure. So that might have been a selfish answer, but that's one of my favorite things.
I don't know, my first thought when I read the question was like, there have been different favorite things at different points in our relationship. Yeah. If that makes sense. Yeah. But I think right now it's just how willing she is to support me in my endeavors. Because this is hopefully, praying to God, my last semester of school, of grad school, and it's been a lot. It's not just about me going to school and having to commit that time, but it also affects her. So she does a lot of things like cooking and cleaning, making sure that things are taken care of around the place. And yeah, I mean, that support is very much appreciated, because if I didn't have that, like, I would be I don't know where I'd be. So
be struggling, be out on the street.
So yeah, right now it's and that kind of sounds selfish too, if I'm being honest, like your support of me, but again, I wouldn't be who I am or where I am now without that.
Yeah. So. And I feel like that's love, just in general. Like, two people being selfless to where, like, you know, the other is seeing it like they're being selfish. But, like, if we're both thinking of the other, then
I just want to point out, I want to take this one right now to point out that anytime I've taken that love language quiz prior to, like, the last, what I would say about a year or so, acts of service was not even in my top 3. Definitely not top 3, maybe not even top 4. But since I've been in school, like, really hardcore, and she's taking on like a lot of the responsibility, that has, what is it, like number 3 or number 2 now?
I think it's number 2. I don't know. It's been a while since we've taken it. But I definitely encourage anybody, like, if you've taken the love language test, like, take it again, like, at some point. Yeah, because it changes. And it might be something slight, but I feel like it's all dependent on, like, what you value at that point in time. Because, like, for me, physical touch was never really that high until we got together. So, I don't know. Retake it if you haven't taken it recently.
Next question. Another good question, honestly. Intentional dating advice. Do you have any intentional dating advice?
So, I'm assuming that this is coming from, like, a space of somebody that is not in a serious relationship but just dating. I might not be the best person to answer that, because I haven't really dated much in my lifetime. Like, before Kendall, I was in a long-term relationship, and so once that relationship ended, I wasn't dating very long before I met Kendall. So I would say take time for yourself. I think that was when he came along, when I really was just like, I'm gonna focus on myself and, you know, work on who I am for my future husband. And I know it's so hard, and everybody says to do that, and, like, it'll happen. And it might not happen, you know, as quickly as it happened for me, but, you know, you never know. And at the end of the day, when you value yourself, you put up with so much less of the BS. Like, I mean, when you know exactly what it is that you want out of a person and somebody isn't giving you that, like, it's a lot easier to just be like, oh, well, if you're not serving me, like, I'm gonna go. Like, you know, when you feel so tethered to somebody because of like, oh, you just want to be in a relationship so bad, like you overlook so many things. So I would definitely say, number one, put yourself first. And then I wouldn't say look out for red flags, because I don't really like that phrase, but just look out for yourself. Like, if your situation was like your best friend was going through that situation, like, what would you tell her if she came to you with advice? Anytime I tell people that, they're like, oh yeah, you're right. So just think about it that way.
I'm gonna echo that, because I mean, we've had conversations about it before, but I feel the exact same way. I was not looking to really date at the time that we met and got together. And I was really focusing on what I had going on and trying to improve myself. So yeah, that was when it happened, if I'm being honest. Yeah. But the advice I want to be more specific about is open communication, because if you approach it with being open and honest with yourself and then that other person, then you're able to see whether or not they're on the same page as you. Like, if you are looking for a relationship and they're not, then you're open about that. They won't be responsive because they're not looking for that. But, you know, even though it's not ideally what you were looking for or what you want, you're able to move on and not waste time in that situation. And so, like, looking back over our relationship, like, I was very open. And honest. We were both very open and honest from the beginning. Yeah. Even on our first date, I was like, I want to make this official, and she was like, which, if you on a first date with a guy, you like, huh? Like, she was like, nah, I need a minute. I just got my mimosa. Like, we ain't even through this whole date yet. Like, no, what? She knew. I knew. She came back 5 days later and was like, okay, I'm ready. So I mean, it's true, because I was definitely I'm working on myself. Like, you know, I was going on dates, but like wasn't really sure like where everything was gonna go. I didn't come in with any expectations. And he just, I don't know. When you know, you know. Yeah. So the next question is, who said I love you first? This is a hard one because, excuse me? She said it first. It was on April 28th. Oh my gosh. Oh, I think you're saying that. No, I was about to say, don't even go looking for no receipts. It's fine. I think it was a mutual thing. I don't think one of us said it first. Like, I mean, if you want to go by whose mouth it came out of first, I think it was me. But as far as the sentiment, yeah, I think it was her. Yeah. I mean, I think it was already there. It was kind of a known thing. But I was like, I'm not saying it first. Like, what? It was very early on. It was very early. We have been officially... I mean, we made our relationship official maybe 2 weeks after our first date. I know, right. Wild. And then maybe like 3 or 4 weeks later, we were at I Love You. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. Oh my gosh. I really put myself out there. That's crazy. Anyways. Yeah, because I was open and honest. All right. Next question is, how is living together so far? I've loved living together. I mean, okay, so before we actually were living together, we both lived at home with our parents. So I think it's been good in a sense to where like I can come home and like not see my parents. Like, I love them, don't get me wrong. But like, it's just so nice to come home to not them. Like, I feel like that has been amazing. But even when we did live, you know, with our parents, we were still together pretty much every day. Yeah. We kind of got our routine. So it's like we're kind of on the same routine. It's just we're coming to a different place. Like, we're going to a different place. So I feel like we didn't really have a lot of obstacles when it came to like, you know, I don't want to say roles, because we kind of just do whatever we need to do. It's like looking at how you do certain things. Yeah. Like, how do you clean? How do you cook? How do you, like, what are your TV habits? Like, all of those things. Like, yeah. I mean, it seems kind of small, but there are a lot of things that add up. And I feel like, fortunately, to answer the question for me, like, I've enjoyed it also, because we've been able to kind of integrate everything.
Yeah.
And integrate it smoothly. Like
Yeah.
we haven't really had much conflict when it comes to how we're gonna manage our place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely enjoy it because I get home cooked meals almost every day.
Not on just your personal chef. Whatever.
Man. All right, next question is, how do you think your parents influenced your view on relationships today? We're delving a little.
Oh my God,
Deep.
we went to some deep waters. Well, without giving too much away, because I don't know if y'all grew up this way, but it was like whatever happens in this household stays in this household.
Yeah.
So without giving too much detail into that, I think from a very early age, my dad was definitely a big part in molding how I viewed relationships and how like what I should expect from a man. Mm-hmm. So, from a very early age, he was like, he doesn't love you, like all these different things. And as I grew up, as I got older, he would tell me that all the time. Like he would be like, and what? And I'd be like, he don't love you. It's so bad. No, but that was something that I needed. And I think as I got older, like I understood what he meant. It wasn't like every guy that says he loves you doesn't love you, but you need to distinguish like who is actually real in what they're saying.
Yeah.
And like, you know, if a man really does love you, he's going to show you rather than just say, I love you. And not to say that I didn't have any hiccups or forget what my dad told me, but I think that definitely molded my view. And then my parents have been together for almost 33 years, and we praise God for that. And so I kind of just saw the things that they went through in their marriage, and you know, I saw the really great things and I saw the not so great things. So it really let me see like what a functional marriage actually looks like, and that it's not perfect. So I've never expected you to be perfect. I don't know. I just don't expect that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's the short answer, because I could go on and on about this, and this is not this is not a podcast. None of that. So I'm gonna let you answer.
Yeah, I mean, really a lot of the same things. My mom never told me to say like he doesn't love you. But, our parents actually got married in the same year, so my parents will be married 33 years this year as well. Mm-hmm. But I think that in and of itself has influenced a lot of how I view relationships, because I was always the type to want to make it work and to like kind of turn to compromise to, you know, move forward. I feel like in the past, like I've dated and people were kind of ready to throw in the towel a little bit earlier than I would have been. Mm-hmm. But that's because I've seen like what a lasting marriage looks like. Yeah. So they've influenced it positively in that sense. You know, we had both grew up in 2-parent households, so that definitely has helped us to kind of think about what it will look like to be together for an extended period of time and not just through the fair weather. Yeah. Get up. You know, get past that. Being together long enough, you know, I'm sure there's some things that will really test and challenge your relationship. But when you look to others that are really close to you, then you can see that it's possible to make it. Yeah. To make it work.
Yeah. So we have good examples, for sure.
Okay.
And shout out to our parents' generation. I feel like a lot more people in our generation came from 2-parent households. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's much more common than it was when our parents were growing up. Yeah, because neither one of my parents came from 2-parent households. So my mom did, but she had a stepfather. Right. So, but she still came from a 2-parent household. My dad was raised by a single mom. So, yeah, I mean, good on them. That's all I can say. By the way, this wine is good. I don't know. I can't even remember who got this for us. I think it was Dominique. I don't know. But whoever got us it might have been Cameron and Janelle. I don't know. But that's good. That's good stuff.
The next question is, what's one piece of advice you've gotten to prepare for marriage or carry into the union? Ooh, I might have to think about that.
I was about to say, we haven't gotten a ton of advice so far. I feel like when we see people, they just tell us congratulations.
I feel like
I think at the wedding is when we're gonna get the most like
Probably.
advice. Like everybody's gonna be wanting to give advice at that point, which is fine. I mean,
no, I've got
we'll take the advice.
I've got some good advice. You want to know what it is?
Yeah, you go first.
The advice is she's always right.
We must be married already.
I've gotten that for sure. I've gotten that already, so.
And I think that's not just like for what it is, like she's always right, but it's like sometimes you just gotta pick your battles. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I feel like it's that way on both sides. Like I pick my battles sometimes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would say, I don't know. I'm always interested in. So we know that we want to start a family. So I've always been interested on like how do you maintain your marriage once kids come into the picture. Like I want to get as much advice on that as possible, because I remember I was listening to, or not listening to, I was actually at church, but this sermon at one community, and you know, it was the first time that I had heard any pastor say that, like, you know, your spouse comes before your kids, which I'm sure a lot of people already know that that's a thing, but I don't know, it never really clicked for me until then, and I'm like, whoa, like, like, I don't know, I've just always seen parents, like, you know, these people are dependent on you, these kids are dependent on you, like, how do you not put them first? So I've just been trying to, like, gather as much advice as possible on that part, and so a lot of people will say, like, you just have to prioritize each other. Like, even if, you know, everything is going on with the kids and you're exhausted, like, find time to connect with one another. Like, whether that be actually going somewhere, like on a date night, or just having a date night at home, like after the kids go to bed, like just check in with each other and spend time with each other. I think that's some really valuable advice, and that's definitely something that I'm gonna use once kids come into the picture, because at the end of the day, the kids gonna leave house, they're gonna find their own mate, and you know, gonna forget all them diapers you changed anyway. So, you know, you might, you know, I feel like it would be beneficial to, you know, figure out ways to put your spouse first.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's cool. I agree.
Yeah.
This question is, how did you all meet? Go ahead. I know you're dying to answer.
I wouldn't say dying. So we met at a wedding. So before, you know what, let's put the thing down, flip it, and reverse it. So actually, when I got out of my last relationship, you know, it hit me hard. And so once I decided that I was picking myself back up and I knew my worth, I knew I wanted to be a wife, I knew I wanted to be a mother, like that's still my end goal. So I didn't want to stay down for too long. So I reached out to, so my cousin, we're very close in age. And he had recently gotten engaged / gotten married. And so, but his wife, they had been together for a really long time. So I knew her very well. And so I reached out to her like, hey, like, I'm looking to get back out there. Like, do you know anyone? Basically. And she was like, oh, I may know somebody. Like, I may have somebody. And then she was like, but I don't know if he's like, you know, I don't know what his status is. That's what she said. Like, I don't know if, anyways. And so I was like, okay, well, like, what does he look like? And so she sent me his Instagram, and I was like, okay, like, you can give me, you can give him my number and see if he's interested, whatever. And so, like, a few months went by, and I never heard anything back. And so, I mean, I wasn't pressed on it or anything like that. I just figured, like, maybe he was in a relationship, maybe he wasn't interested, whatever. And so their wedding was supposed to be in March of 2020, which we all know what happened in March of 2020. So they had to push it to March of 2021, and I was actually their wedding coordinator. So that day of the wedding, I was just like running around doing this, that, and the other. And so before the reception, I let the staff of the venue kind of take over, because this was still my family. Like, I wanted to enjoy, you know, that aspect of it. So you know, I was having a good time on the dance floor, as I normally am. Like, if you know me and there's a dance floor, I'm gonna be on it. So, you know, just having a good time. But I noticed him earlier in the day, like, as I was running around for the ceremony and stuff, and I was like, oh, I think that's that guy that Aaliyah was like telling me about. And
your future husband.
I didn't know then. And so I think we met up like at the bar. It was like him and like a few of their friends, and he hit me with the "you look familiar." I was like, do I? Oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And so like throughout the night, you know, we just always ended up near each other, whether that be like on the dance floor, at the bar, whatever. And so I don't know how it like progressed. I don't know how the progression of the evening happened.
Now,
I would be interested to hear
like,
that from your perspective, because like you didn't know who I was. So like it all kind of progressed in that one moment for you to be like, okay, I want to talk to her.
But she was like, can I get your Instagram?
Well,
even
okay.
though in hindsight, I didn't know at the time.
I asked everybody.
No, she already had my Instagram because she was like, "Oh, that yeah,
You know, so, I didn't even think about that. But I wasn't gonna follow you as a weirdo.
She was trying to split game. So
I wasn't.
She already had the Instagram, and we did end up near each other all night, just kind of dancing, being friendly. I feel like And actually, Cameron, who was the best man in the wedding, he was like, "Man, we see you trying to holler," and I was like, "Am I putting it on that hard?"
I didn't like, see it that way. But
I just
keep
thought
in
I was
mind,
being friendly at the time.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that way because, like, mind you, like I'm thinking he like wasn't interested, so I'm like, oh, he's just being friendly. Like that's fine, whatever. And then, so of course, after any good wedding, there's an after party. So we went to the after party. And we ordered pizza and stuff like that, and we talked for a long time. Like we stood at at the bar in the kitchen of the Airbnb, and we just stood and we just talked about so many things. And after that, I mean, of course, more things happened after that, but that was like the night that we met. Yeah. And we've been pretty much inseparable ever since.
Yeah.
So. Come to find out that she never told, my cousin's wife never told him about me because
I was studying for the MCAT.
Yes, he was studying for the MCAT, and she was like, I don't think that he would be like open to like dating anybody right now.
Yeah. So, which, if we're being honest, even aside from studying from the MCAT, I don't think I would have been ready for something serious anyway. So
exactly, which is just, I don't know.
All happened in God's timing.
Yes, for sure.
For sure. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to continue seeing Q&As, head over to kenny.court1 on Instagram, and from time to time we'll be posting on our story asking for questions. So, with that said, be blessed.
Oh my gosh.
You can get away. Palm trees, beach views, ordinary day. All I wanna hear is in the visions I replay. Sit right next to you.